Okay, you can ask your doubts.
So the 68th one.
68. Fx 2x and g is an identity function. Then which of the following is correct? Okay. So in 68th question, fx is 2x and gx is identity function, means gx is x. When I told you composite function, I told you what is identity function. Okay. Now you have to check the options. A option is f of gx, that means f of gx. Gx is x. Gx is x, so it becomes fx, and fx is 2x. So is it equal to gx? Answer is no, not equal to gx. So you have to check the options. Then what is g plus gx? What is the meaning of this? G plus gx means gx plus gx. This is not composite, this is addition. This comes out to be 2x, not equal to gx. So B's option is also not correct. Similarly, we will check few options. FOGX. FOGX is FGX. GX is X here. That I actually already solved. So it is 2x. And 2x is G plus GX. We solved this in the previous part. Both of them are 2x. So C will be the answer. So I told you, when this alphabet O is there, then it is composite. Otherwise it is addition or multiplication, whatever. Yes. After this 68, which is the next one. Any other doubts? I think I gave question till 92. From 68 to 92.
Yes, sir.
Which one?
75.
Wait a minute, I'm not able to hear. Just a minute. Yes, please repeat your question.
75.
75. Okay. Question number 75. Fx is ax plus b, gx is cx plus d. And they have given fgx is equal to gfx. Actually, it is not equal, but they have given that it is equal. So what exactly they want to ask? Then fgx equal to gfx is equivalent to. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so in this question, fx is given, gx is given, and they want this value. So I don't know. I think I will have to compare it. So f of gx. Let me see what is this. F of gx means I'll put gx here, so it will becomes a gx plus b. And g of fx means I'll put fx here. Okay. Should I put? I think I will have to put this now. In place of gx, I will write cx plus d. and in place of fx I will write ax plus b plus d. So this is how much? ACX plus AD plus B equals ACX plus BC plus D. What purpose will it serve? We are getting some relation in AVD and something like that, but the meaning is equivalent to what? GX plus D. Actually, they have given nothing, no relation in fx and gx, only this. Wait a minute. What is the purpose of this equation? AD minus BC. Even in fact, it will not be. Nothing is getting cancelled. Or it may be that. Wait a minute. Let us write this equation. But it cannot be true for a particular value because see, we are getting AD plus B, and here we are getting C into B plus D. Though they have some connections with these equations, but like AD plus B means what? AD plus B is actually FD, and CB plus D is actually GB. So is it so? C option. Okay, got it. See, they have given these two functions fx and gx, and also they have given that f of gx is gfx. You find these, okay? What is the meaning of fgx? You put gx in place of x, it will become a gx plus b. Here it is. What is gfx? Put fx here, it will become cfx plus d. Now what to do? Again put their values. Gx is cx plus d and fx is ax plus b. On simplifying, multiplying and cancelling, we are getting this. Now think how you will get AD plus B from here. You will get AD plus B from here by putting D in place of X in f of X. Okay. So simply it is FD. Similarly, CB plus D. CB plus D, this is nothing but GB. So C option will be the answer. FD equals GB. Yes, any other doubt after this?
So question number 80.
80th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fx is log 1 plus x upon 1 minus x. Gx is 3x plus x cube upon 1 plus 3x square. I think it will become some identity. We have to find fgx. So fgx will be actually, fgx means log 1 plus gx upon 1 minus gx. Put this expression here. So this is log of 1 plus 3x plus x cube upon 1 plus 3x square. 1 minus 3x plus x cube upon 1 plus 3x square. Take the LCM. This will be 1 plus 3x square plus 3x plus x cube. In the denominator, we will have 1 plus 3x square minus 3x minus x. So as I said, it will become identity. What is this? This is 1 plus x upon 1 minus x whole cube. You can check yourself. In the numerator, it is a plus b whole cube. In the denominator, it is a minus b whole cube. And because of that, 3 will come in front, property of log. And this is 3 times of log 1 plus x upon 1 minus x, and this is fx only. So fgx is coming out equal to 3fx. So just a minute. All right. Any other doubt?
So, so
Which one? 77?
7.
The inverse of the function fx 87. What is the function? This is, see, in all the four parts, answers are given. So we need not to check 1, 1 on 2 and nothing is given that we can check. So just find inverse assuming it as a bijective function. So y equals, I think we should take LCM. So how much will be this result? Plus 2ex plus 2e minus x upon e to the power x plus e to the power minus x. So this will be equal to y equals 3ex plus e minus x upon this. Basically, we have to find x in terms of y. Okay. Cross multiply. Wait a minute. Yeah, cross multiply. Y e to the power y into e to the power x plus y into e to the power minus x. Write similar terms together. So for that, let us shift this to the left hand side. Shift this to the other side. Now bring x on one side and y on the other side. So e to the power minus x, when it will be shifted to LHS, it will become plus. E to the minus x will come in division, and I can write it as e to the power x in the numerator. So e to the power 2x, here it is 1 minus y upon y minus 3. Take log on the base of e, that is ln. So ln or log on base of e, both are same. So this is 2x, ln e is 1. Bring 2 here and now replace x by y and y by x. Okay, replace, y equals half ln of 1 minus x upon x minus 3. So this should be some option. Half you can take in the power also, right? Property of log. 1 minus x upon x minus 3 to the power half. So if you go for the option, D will be the answer. Why? Because in D option, in the numerator we have x minus 1, in denominator we have 3 minus x. So it is one and the same thing, right? So y equals log x minus 1 upon 3 minus x to the power half. This will be the inverse of this function. So the basic steps involved expressing x in terms of y. Okay. Yes, any other question? Okay, so that's it. I think level 1 is completed. I also gave you level 4 section is, so you complete it by tomorrow. Okay, so that we can finish this chapter completely. We start with log today. Sorry, limits today. Okay, so with respect to this chapter, There are three basic questions that we have to answer in this particular chapter. First is limit of what? Second question is why to evaluate limit. And third question is how to evaluate it. After answering these three questions, we will see what is actually limit, how to evaluate limit. So now that you have studied functions, so it is easy to answer that we find limit of functions. Okay, we find limits of functions. Second question is why we have to evaluate limit, why we are studying this chapter. So see, there will be some important words that I'll be using frequently in this chapter. Words like approaching, words like tending. Okay, so keep those things in mind. Why to evaluate limit? We evaluate limit to study the nature of the functions. Listen to this very carefully. We evaluate limits to study the nature of functions which are approaching indeterminate forms. To study nature of functions approaching indeterminate forms. See, we are not studying indeterminate forms because there is no purpose. If it is indeterminate, what we are studying? But we study the nature of the functions which approach these forms. Now the question is, what are indeterminate forms? Just a minute. What are the indeterminate forms? Okay. And the answer is there are 7 indeterminate forms in mathematics. Indeterminate, as the name suggests, which cannot be determined. And these 7 indeterminate forms are 0 by 0. See, 0 by 0 is not 1. You cannot cancel 0 by 0 in this particular case. It is not infinity. Okay. You will not say we are dividing by 0, so it will be infinity. It is not 1. It is neither 0. Because some of you may argue that if it is 0 in the numerator, answer should be 0. Some of you will say that it is 0 in the denominator, so answer should be infinity. And some of us may argue that both are same, so we can cancel and answer is 1. Actually, answer is none, indeterminate. Something which cannot be determined. Second is infinity by infinity. Infinity by infinity is not 1, it is not 0, it is not any other number. It is simply indeterminate. Then 0 into infinity, again indeterminate. For some forms you may be confused that sir, how could it be an indeterminate form? But you should wait for the topic to proceed. Okay, you will get the answer to every question. Then we have infinity minus infinity. Then there is, how many types are these? These are 6. Last one is infinity to the power 0. All of these are indeterminate forms. So what we will do in this chapter, we will study the nature of the functions which will be approaching these forms. Where can we see these examples? Like for example, if we have a function, now we know that what function is. Suppose we have sin x upon, just a minute. Suppose we have sec x upon tan x. And if someone says that he or she wants to find f pi by 2, that means sec pi by 2 upon tan pi by 2. So answer will be indeterminate. It is infinity by infinity. So you may find all these cases in everyday mathematics, like fx is x square by x. If someone says what is f0, then the answer will be indeterminate. 0 by 0 is indeterminate. Okay. And there can be other examples also, like fx equals 1 minus x into 10 pi x by 2. Both of them are functions, algebraic, trigonometric. What if I want to find f1? f1 is 0 into 10 pi by 2. What do you observe? You are getting an indeterminate form every time. Now do not try to evaluate it because no one has the answers to these questions. Okay, they are indeterminate forms. But we are not going to study them. We are going to study the nature of functions which will be approaching these. So I think I've used this for the fourth or fifth time because this is the chapter all about. But I have a question for you. I want to know your answer, especially like this one. Infinity minus infinity. Can anyone tell me why can't it be 0? Why infinity minus infinity can't be 0? Or why infinity by infinity can't be 1? What is the problem? Can anyone explain? Any idea? See, in this particular case, first one, when we put pi by 2, it is sec pi by 2 infinity, and in the denominator we have 10 pi by 2, this is also infinity. But can I say that now this is really absurd when we talk such type of things in mathematics? We may be confused, but there is, I mean, I should say, this particular concept of infinity is weird itself because sometimes we are using it as a number. People say infinity is a very large number. If it is a large number, tell me what is its magnitude. Then you won't have any answer. So how can it be a number? If it is a number, it should have a magnitude. So first thing, infinity is not a number. First important thing. It is not defined. We say 1 by 0 is not defined. You might have seen 1 by 0 infinity. Because infinity and not defined, both of them, I can say, have same meaning. Because if infinity would have been defined, there would have been certain magnitude associated with it. Secondly, we have infinity here, we have infinity here. There may be an argument how we come to know that infinity from sec is equal to infinity from 10. That is absolutely correct. Now, if you ask any class 7th, 8th student and you'll ask what is infinity, then he can say, sir, 999 and so many times 9. Then there may be an argument that I will add one more 9 after that. Okay. And this process will go on. And we will not be able to reach a particular number. Similarly, two infinities can be different. Remember this point. Two infinities can be different. I mean, it is not necessary that if I am using symbol infinity in the numerator and denominator, both of them are same. It is not like 5 upon 5 that I will say 1. So, two infinities can be different. For this, I will give you a very simple example. We have infinite natural numbers. We have infinite natural number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on up to everybody will say infinity. We also have whole numbers, infinite whole numbers. Natural numbers are infinite, whole numbers are infinite, but still we say that the total number of whole numbers are greater than total number of natural number. Why? Because there is one additional number in whole number apart from natural number, that is 0. Whole numbers start from 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Natural numbers start from 1, 2, 3, and so on. So anyone can tell that total number of whole numbers are more, though both of them have infinite numbers. Okay, so that is the thing. This we must understand, and that is why we cannot say that infinity minus infinity is 0 and infinity by infinity is 1, like that. That is why such type of forms are indeterminate. So till now, what is limit of what? We will be calculating limit of functions. Why will be calculating? Because we will be studying their nature, approaching indeterminate forms. What are indeterminate forms? These are indeterminate forms. There are 7 indeterminate forms. Apart from that, no indeterminate form exists. No indeterminate form exists. Let me tell you. Now, do not create your own indeterminate forms. For example, infinity plus infinity. It is not indeterminate, it is infinity. Infinity into infinity. Please do not write infinity square. Okay. It is simply infinity. Then likewise, But infinity by infinity is not 1. Okay, it is not infinity, but these are simply determinate forms. Their answers will be infinite. Then if any other result will come, we will see at that time. For now, these are the two terms. They are not indeterminate forms. Thirdly, how to evaluate limits. So this is basically the chapter all about different methods of evaluating limits. Now there will be so many. One is fundamental method, that is actually definition. Fundamental method, LHL, RHL method. Second one is then there are some other methods like rationalization, factorization. Formulae are also there. Some formulae will be used. See, though every chapter is important, but see this limits. Limits is especially important because it will help you to understand the next two chapters, that is continuity and differentiability. And continuity and differentiability are there in your board exams also. If you are a CBSE student, limits is not there in your board syllabus. It used to be in class 11th NCRT. But continuity and differentiability, it is in 12th. But no one can understand continuity and differentiability without understanding limits. Okay. And otherwise also this chapter is in JEE Main and advanced, everywhere it is. So rationalization, factorization, use of standard formulae. Then there are some other techniques like use of L'Hopital rule, also called as L'Hospital rule, L'Hopital, whatever you want to say. Then use of series expansions. You will study about some expansions here in this chapter. Then there is one interesting theorem called sandwich theorem. It is exactly the same thing that you may be understanding right now, sandwich. Okay. We will see how it is coming in mathematics. So fundamental, rationalization, factorization, standard formulae, L'Hospital series expansion, and sandwich theorem. These are the various methods or techniques to evaluate the limits. Okay. Now let's come to the basic question, which is not from the above three. What is limit? To understand the concept of limit, I will start taking an example, and this will lead us to the last of the chapter. I will start with drawing two graphs. Okay, this is the graph. Okay, so before going further, I just want to confirm, am I audible to everyone? Yes, can anyone confirm?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. See, so the next thing is what is limit? Okay, and to understand this concept, we will take examples of these two functions. One is y equals x plus 2 and next one is y equals x square minus 4 upon x minus 2. So I have already told you about identical functions, right? So I have a question now, it's your turn. Anyone can speak up and tell me whether the two functions that is on the left hand side and right hand side, that is x plus 2 and x square minus 4 upon x minus 2, are these two functions equal or not? Y equals x
Mm,
plus 2. Yes, yes, please.
no.
No is the answer. Answer is correct. Can you give me the reason?
So because of the domains of both of them are different.
Yes, right. See, some of you may argue, sir, that if we will factorize it, on factorization it will be cancelled and I will get y is equal to x plus 2. That is correct. But under the restriction is domain. Here, there is no restriction. Y equals x plus 2. Put any x whatever you want to because it is a polynomial. So domain is R. No issues. Draw the graph. Straight line. This is the graph. No problem. But will I be able to make the same graph here? No. Though it is coming y equals x plus 2 only, but if you have to judge the original function, not this one which you have cancelled and changed according to your requirement. The original function is x square minus 4 upon x minus 2. What is domain? R minus 2. That means you are not allowed to put x equal to 2 here. That's it. So if I'm not putting x equal to 2, if I cannot put x equal to 2, that means this thing cannot be 0. So that means I can cancel it because x is not 2 in this whole question. Here is x equal to 2? Yes, no problem. But we cannot put x equal to 2. So you cross it. You write y equals x plus 2, but under this restriction. Now what will happen? Obviously, graph will differ. Where? At this point. So in the first situation, where at x equal to 2, you are getting 4, right? Here, you are not allowed to put 2. 2 is in the open interval. Domain is all x except 2. Okay. If you will try to put 2 here, you will not get 4. Why? Because in this function, you are not allowed to do it. So some of you may argue, sir, we will put it there on the top. If you will put here x equal to 2, you will get from where the chapter started, 0 by 0. Indeterminate. If it is indeterminate, it has no magnitude, and such type of quantities in mathematics are represented by this open ring. This ring corresponding to x equal to 2 shows that there is no y for it. Okay. Do not write 2 comma 0 by 0. It makes no sense. There is no y for it. Okay. It is broken at this point, or nothing exists at this point. So sometimes this graph is equivalent to this also. They do not make anything and they just break it at this point. Okay. And from here only the concept of limit will start. What is the concept? I am not allowed to put x equal to 2. I am now strictly talking with respect to the second one only. First is okay. I am talking about this function x square minus 4 upon x minus 2. I am not allowed to put x equal to 2 here, but I am certainly allowed to put all other x except 2. Okay, so y equals this equals x plus 2 if x not equal to 2. Let us do one thing. Let us make a table and let us try to write some values of x and try to find y corresponding to it. Okay. Let us start with the value 2. Will you get any answer? Will you get 4? No. What you will get? 0 by 0. What is this? Indeterminate. All right. Now, see, I am putting a number here. Let's say 2.1. Because I cannot put 2, I can put everything except 2. If I put 2.1, I get 4.1. I put 2.01, I get 4.01. From where I am putting all these? Now I can put here only. I need not to put in this whole expression because now it is okay. So I will go on putting the values, and a moment will come when I will put like this number, something like 2 point so many zeros, as many as you can think, and corresponding to this value of x you will get 4 point that many zeros, and at some moment you will get 1. Okay. Now similarly, let us put 1.9. I will get 3.9. 1.99, I will get 3.99. 1.3 times 9, 3 point that many times 9, and this process can even go on, and a moment will come, it will be 3.99 and so on. Now listen carefully what I am doing. Let us concentrate on values of x first. I am approaching to, now the terms comes into picture, approaching, and this is specifically with respect to values of x. First read the first row. Okay. What I am doing, I am trying to approach to, I am trying to approach 2 from the right hand side, because on the right hand side numbers will be greater than 2. Just wait a minute, please. Yes. So what we understand with this table, now let us try to give it a mathematical form. See, we were discussing about values of x. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to approach 2 from the right hand side. See, on a number line, the numbers to the right side of 2 are greater than 2. This is right side. Okay. This is left. And to the left of 2, numbers are less than 2, obviously. So, when I will try to approach 2 from the right hand side, the value of y, now come to the second row, the value of y will try to approach 4. I repeat, see, first I put 2.1, then 2.01, then so many zeros. At this moment, I'm almost at 2, but not at 2, right? Because of that, what is happening? What changes occurring in values of y? These values of y, they are also coming closer to a particular number, which seems like 4. Okay. Now, let us repeat this process from the left hand side. From the left hand side, we are trying to approach a number 2, 1.9, 1.99, 1.3 times 9, and so on. As a result, this y is also trying to approach a particular number which seems like 4. And this is the concept of limit. This is the concept of limit. How we write this? And see, when I say approaching towards 2 from right and left, that does not mean that I will be at x equal to 100 and I am approaching 2. Approaching means as close as it can be. So obviously I will not be standing at 100 or 3 or 4. I will be just to the immediate neighborhood. Immediate neighborhood means as close as possible from the right side and from the left side as well. So how this information can be written mathematically? First, let me give it some statement. When this implies when x approaches to the value of y. What is y? Y is fx only. But let me write it first. The value of y approaches 4. Everything is about approaches here. Okay. There is no equal to. You will not say when x equals to y equals 4. This is not happening here. When x approaches to y approaches 4. Now mathematically, this information is written as the first 3 alphabets of limit, this symbol, then x arrow 2. X arrow 2 means x is tending towards 2. X is approaching 2. We write it like this. How we will read this statement? We will read it like this. When x tends towards 2, the limit of y is 4. Please note, y is not 4. Limit of y is 4. And what is limit of y? That means approaching value of y. What is y here? What is y here? Y is fx and fx is nothing but x square minus 4 upon x minus 2. This thing is 2. Sorry, this thing is 4. This is the basic idea of the limits. When at a particular x, we approach that x from right side or left side, because of that, the value of y or the function, if it also approaches a particular value, then that value of y is called the limit of the function. This is what we are going to study. But as you can see, it will become very complicated for other type of functions, making this table and every time studying the nature of the function. This will not be possible. So obviously we need faster methods that you are going to study under the article how to evaluate limits. Okay. And one important thing, when you are approaching this x from left side and right side, the value of y should approach a particular number only. Like from this table, from the right side y is coming towards 4, from the left side also y is coming towards 4. That is why from both sides it is approaching a particular value only. Then only I will say that limit exists and its value is equal to that particular number, which is 4 in this case. If from the left side it is approaching some other number, from the right side it is approaching some other number, then limit will not exist in that case. Let me give you an example. Suppose I have some random function. I don't know what it is equation, but let's see it is something like this. Okay, let me mark it. This is 2. Suppose this is 1. This is 2. Let us say it is this graph of y is equal to fx. This combination of two branches. Okay, one to the left of 2, other is to the right of 2. Okay, I have a question for you. If anyone can tell me by studying the graph, okay, can anyone tell me when I will be approaching x is equal to 2? Okay, when I will be approaching x is equal to 2, can anyone tell me from this graph that what will be the value of y towards which this function is approaching? I'm repeating the question. If I approach x is equal to 2 from the right side, what will be the approaching value of y? Can you see it from the diagram and tell me?
So 1.
2.
No, 2 will be the answer because see, I am approaching 2 from the right side. Let me tell you here. See, suppose this is some number. I am at this height. I am at this x. We are at this height. We are at this x. We are at this height. What we are doing? We are approaching 2 from the right side. Okay. And as a result, I am moving on the graph. So constantly, as I can see, y will come down. Okay. So there will come a moment when I will be just to the right of 2. Okay. Just to the right of 2. Because of that, I can see that this height is constantly coming down and at some moment it will be here. So what I can say that when I am moving towards x is equal to 2 from the right side, the function is approaching the height 2. Secondly, at x equal to 2, answer is not defined because these rings are made. Now if you have understood this, can anyone tell me that if I approach x is equal to 2 from the left hand side, if I approach x is equal to 2 from the left hand side, what will be the approaching value of y? Yes, anyone? See, read the graph. Try to read the graph. We are coming towards x is equal to 2 from left hand side. As a result, where y will move? This is the question. It is visible from the graph only.
1.
Yes, 1. Because see, when you will be coming towards 2, this is too far. This is 0. We should be as much as close as we can. Let's say we are here. So what is happening? Height is constantly increasing. So a moment will come when you will be just at this point. You will not be at x equal to 1. You will be approaching 1 because the height corresponding to 1, this is open. That is obvious because at x equal to 2 we have no height. Do not say that height is 2 or height is 1. No, rings are there. But just to the right of 2, height is coming close to 2, and just to the left of 2, height is coming close to 1. In this particular case, limit does not exist. Limit does not exist. Why? Because what I told you in this, when you are coming towards a particular value of x from left or right side, the value of y should approach towards the same number, which is visible from this table that it is 4. But is it so from this graph? No. In one case it is approaching 2, in the other case the y is approaching 1. So that is why in such cases limit does not exist. So this is the graphical approach. Observe the graph and tell what is the limit or does it exist or not. Secondly is the tabular form, but that is always not very easy. Making this table every time and deciding the nature of the function. So what we will do now, we will come to the methods. Today we'll be able to study only the basic method, which is existence of limit. I will write the same thing whatever I have explained in mathematical form now. Existence of limit at x tends to it. So if y equals fx is a function, then limit x tending to a fx. Okay, that means x is approaching some number. Because of that, fx is approaching some value and is said to exist. Is said to exist. If whatever I have explained here, that thing, if left hand limit is equal to right hand limit is equal to finite quantity, and this finite quantity is the value of limit. This finite quantity is value of limit. This will be asked in the question. What is the limit? Mathematically, this can be written as, if we are to the left of some number, then we are at a position where x is less than a. Left side means just like for 2 we were writing 1.9, 1.99. So to the left of two numbers are less than 2. So a minus is equal to the right of that numbers will be greater than that particular number, is equal to finite quantity. And finally, this thing, last, we are going to introduce a quantity called h. Let me write it first. And this is what we are going to use in proving the question. Is equal to finite quantity. See, in the left hand limit, what we are doing? We are putting a minus h in place of x. You can see here. In right hand limit, we are putting x is equal to a plus h. So right and left hand limit is understood. Something greater than a, something less than a. So a plus h, a minus h. And what is h itself? Where h is itself a negligibly small positive quantity. Negligibly small positive quantity. See, in mathematics, if I have to say this thing, that 2.0000, okay. So if I have to if I have to tell a number just greater than 2, then will I say it like this, 2 point so many times 01? It does not look good. Instead of this, I will use 2 plus h. 2 plus h means a number is greater than 2. Why? Because what is h? It itself is a very small positive quantity. Suppose I have to say 1.999. Then instead of this, I'll be using 2 minus h. Why? Because h itself is a very small positive quantity. So 2 minus h gives us an idea that it is less than 2. 2 plus h gives the idea that it is greater than 2. So this is the definition. This is the definition, and this is only the value of limit. We will use this method. This is called fundamental method or LHL RHL method. And if both of them are equal and they are equal to finite quantity, then only limit is said to exist, and that value is called the value of limit. If any of these conditions is violated, then limit does not exist. For example, left hand limit is not coming equal to right hand limit, so limit does not exist. Both are coming equal, but they are coming equal to infinity, not finite quantity. Limit does not exist. Okay, this is the thing. So let me take the same example now. Let me take the same example now. Our first example, which we understood by graph, then by table, and now we will understand, we'll get this answer by this definition now. Okay, the condition which is written in the box. Watch these steps carefully, because this was the only initial part, which is little bit conceptual. You have to just give a proper thought. Rest is formula and everything like that. Okay. Let us start this mathematical approach now. First, we have to find LHL means left hand limit. So what you will do? See this. You will write h tending to 0. Okay. And in the function, in place of x, you will put a minus h. What is a here? A is 2. So write 2 minus h everywhere. You will simplify this and find the left hand limit. This is 4 plus h square minus 4h minus 4 upon minus h. This is h square minus 4h upon minus h. Now I have a question. Take h common, h minus 4 upon minus h. Please tell me, any one of you, and please hurry up. Can I cancel like this or not? Is it okay? Can I cancel h from h? Is this the correct step to be used here? See, it looks like I have cancelled 0 by 0. Is it so? Actually, it is true. It is okay. Why? We cannot divide exact 0 by exact 0 because that is indeterminate. But how come this particular form is indeterminate? No, because here h is tending to 0. It is not 0. It is some very small positive number. And since both of them are same, that means I can cancel it. What will remain? 4 minus h. What we will do with this value? We will write the answer 4. Why? Because see, function is not 4, limit is 4. When you are putting this h here, you are not writing the value of the function 4, you are writing the limit as 4 because this value will be 3.999 something like this. So that is why this symbol limit is used, which shows that the value of the limit is 4. This is LHL, but this is not the final answer. You have to find RHL also. For RHL, what we do? First of all, you will write h tending to 0 and in place of x, what you will use now? A plus h, which is 2 plus h here. Now solve this. If this also comes out to be equal to 4, that will be the answer. 4 plus h square plus 4h minus 4 upon h. This is cancelled. Like the previous step, we can cancel h. So this will be h plus 4. Once again, the value of function is not 4. Function is approaching 4. Why? Because when h is tending to 0, this is some very small positive number. So it will be 4.0001. Instead of this, we write 4 because limit is written here. So what do you observe? LHL is equal to RHL is equal to 4. Finite quantity, and this will be the answer of the limit. So that is why I can say that x tends to 2. X square minus 4 upon x minus 2 is equal to 4. This is the way to solve it. Okay. If anyone is having any doubt till now, you can please ask. In all the questions, you have to find LHL and RHL. Till I teach you something new. Let me see how many of you have understood. There is a question. Limit x tending to 0. Signum x. If anyone gets the answer, please tell me. These questions should not take more than 20 seconds or 25, 30 seconds, not more than that. Because now I have taught you everything about each type of function. Let us break the question in parts. If anyone can tell me what is RHL. Yes, you can try. You may be wrong. It is okay. You should know whether you are thinking in the correct way or not. How we will write RHL here? In place of x, we put a plus h. What is a here? A is 0. So how to find RHL? H tending to 0. And in place of x, you put a plus h. So this comes out to be equal to signum of h. Now can anyone tell me the answer? What will be the value of signum h when h is tending to 0 and it is a small positive quantity?
1.
Yes, correct. Good. Do not put h equal to 0 here. See, if you think that you will put 0 and you will say that signum 0 is 0, that will be wrong. Why? Try to understand. You are studying limits. You are not putting anything equal to h tending to 0. It is some very small positive number. And what I taught you about signum of positive number is 1, like this. So it will just take 2-3 questions and you will understand this concept. Now LHL. For LHL, we again write h tending to 0, but now in place of x, we put a minus h. Okay. So this will be signum of minus h. Now can anyone tell what is the value? Please remember h itself is a very small positive quantity, throughout the chapter. So what is this value? This value will be minus 1, right? This value will be minus 1 because now we have a very small negative number. Though very small, it is a negative number. Its signum will be minus 1. LHL not equal to RHL, limit does not exist. They will write answer like this, does not exist. Okay. I hope you will be able to solve this one now. There is this greatest integer. RHL. Now the x is approaching 1. Okay. So h tending to 0. In place of x, we will put a plus h. A is 1 here. Yes, please tell me the value of RHL. What is greatest integer of 1 plus h when h is tending to 0?
1.
Yes, correct. Because it is slightly greater than 1, right? So greatest integer will be 1. Similarly in LHL, we take h tending to 0, but in place of x, we will take a minus h. Now please tell me what is the value. See, we are studying limit of functions, right? Limit of functions. So function is important. We devoted so much time to it. Tell me what is the value.
0.
Yes, correct. Because now this number is less than 1, slightly less than 1. So even if it is 0.99, how does it matter? Greatest integer will be 0. Because this is what is the definition of greatest integer. Again, answer is does not exist. Why? LHL is not equal to RHL. This is the reason. Next question. All right. Suppose it is standing 0 and here we have under root x square by x. Okay, there's the question. Can anyone tell me what is under root of x square?
Mod x.
Yes, correct. It is mod of x. We have already discussed. So this is actually this question. Now RHL, LHL. So RHL is limit h tending to 0. In place of x, you will put a plus h. A is 0 here. Limit h tending to 0. Tell me what is mod h. What you will write in place of mod h. Suppose I want to remove mod h. What should I write in numerator? What type of quantity is h? Based on that, you will open mod h. So what should come in the numerator?
H.
Forgot? Yes. I thought you forgot modulus. So mod h will be h. Why? Because h is a positive number. And now this can be cancelled. Why? Because it is not 0, it is standing 0. So they can be cancelled. Similarly, LHL, we put a minus h here. So in the numerator, it will be mod of minus h. In the numerator, we have minus h. Sorry, denominator, we have minus h. Please tell me what you will write here now. See, you should be clear with these points. Mod of minus h. What will be the numerator now if I want to remove modulus?
H.
Correct. Why? Because modulus always gives positive value and h is a positive number. We are discussing constantly. Now what will happen? Minus 1. Once again, LHL not equal to RHL, limit does not exist. So this is the way to do it. Okay, so using this method, tell me what is the answer to this. Everyone try this question. Use this method only. Try this and tell me whether limit is existing or not, and if yes, what is the value. Use this method, write everything. RHL, S tending to 0. In place of H, sorry, in place of X, you will put 2 plus H. 2 plus H whole square minus 8 times 2 plus H plus 12. What will be this expression now? Simplify as much as you can. So 4 plus H square plus 4H minus 12 minus 6H plus 8. In the denominator, it will be 4 plus H square plus 4H minus 16 minus 8H plus 12. So what you will get after simplification? See, this 12 will be cancelled. It is H square minus 2H in the numerator. And this will also cancel. H square minus 4H in the denominator. So before you actually put 0 here, sometimes what students do they put 0 here without cancelling. If you will put 0 here, you will tell that you are telling that this question is approaching 0 by 0. Put 0 everywhere in place of h. So it will be 0 by 0. This is not the answer. This is the form towards which this function is approaching. So when you will get the answer? When you will remove that particular term which is leading towards indeterminate form. What is that number? That number is h. Cancel it. Now you put 0. Now you put 0, no problem, half is the answer. Similarly, you will find LHL, that will also come half. So limit will exist. So this is the basic fundamental method. Put a minus h everywhere. 2 minus h whole square minus 8 times 2 minus h plus 12. So this will be, now I'll be writing the steps directly, okay? After simplification I will write. So h square will remain and minus 4h plus 6h is 2h. Rest everything will be cancelled. In the denominator h square minus 4h plus 8h. 4h will remain, rest everything will be cancelled. Now just like in the previous question, first you cancel h. Whatever is coming common you cancel it. Now you put 0 here. Same value, finite value, half is coming. So LHL is equal to RHL equals half. This is the answer. Half is the answer. In this question, limit x tends to 2, this whole thing is 1 by 2. LHL RHL method or fundamental method as it is known. Okay, just a last point for today. Rest we'll discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow also we have class. And please finish your homework. This small topic called one-sided limit. As the name suggests, sometimes only one side limit, that is LHL or RHL, is present in domain. That is LHL or RHL is present in domain. Okay. Is present in domain. In such cases, LHL or RHL, whichever present, okay, LHL or RHL, whichever present, is equal to finite quantity, and this is your value of limit. So if like only one sided limit is there, like sometimes in the question only one side can be written, there is no other side, the reason may be domain, then we will not say that answer is does not exist. In fact, we will find that particular side limit and we will give the answer. For example, if I write this limit x tends to 1 sine inverse x, suppose this is the question, then can anyone of you tell me, is it a question of one-sided limit, and if so, what is the reason? Limit x tends to 1 sine inverse x. Do you remember anything with respect to ITF, and you can use it here? What do you think?
So it's
Yes,
one-sided
yes, please.
limit.
Yes, please. Can you
It's
repeat?
a one-sided.
It's a one-sided limit. That's correct. And what is the reason? Which side is not present?
The right side.
Yes, good. So here RHL is not present. Why? Because if you will write RHL, it will be limit h tending to 0 sine inverse 1 plus h, right? The question cannot be taken further from this side. Why? 1 plus h. In front of sine inverse, we have something which is greater than 1. This is not in the domain. How can I find its value? Which does not exist. Okay. But that does not mean that I will say that limit does not exist. No. In fact, writing this whole thing was wrong. Question is okay. So it is a case of one-sided limit. It is a case of one-sided limit. Only LHL is present. So how you will come to know that? You should be strong enough in your this chapter functions. Okay, everything should be crystal clear. You are finding limit of a function. If you are not good in functions, obviously you will have trouble throughout now. So it is a case of one-sided limit. Only LHL is in domain. Therefore, limit h tending to 0, sine inverse 1 minus h. Now, if we want to find the limit, then with respect to limit, there is nothing called indeterminate. It is like simply putting the value. It is like simply putting the value. You will write sine inverse 1 only, and everybody knows it is pi by 2. Now, please do not use this same argument for here, for this RHL. You cannot say that, sir, here also h is tending to 0. I will put 0, it will be sine inverse 1 only. So, though answer seems like the case of both sided limit, because ultimately this will also become sine inverse 1 after putting h equal to 0, and this will also become sine inverse 1. But writing it sine inverse 1 or sine inverse 1 plus h or whatever is wrong. Why? If it is not in domain, what is the purpose of writing all this? Okay. Because technically we are wrong. We are placing some value which is greater than 1 in sine inverse. Okay. So if it is a subjective question, in objective, this thing may be escaped, no one noticed that you got the right answer by solving it in a wrong way, because you actually calculated RHL and that even does not exist. So if like it will be a subjective paper and you write like this, you will get a 0, because the examiner will understand that you have no idea about domain and anything. Okay. So even if you will think that your answer is correct, you will get a 0. So clearly it is a case of one-sided limit. Please keep this in mind. Only one side limit can be there. If it is there, calculate it, and if it comes to be a finite quantity, that will be your answer. So the answer will be pi by 2. If lastly, just last, if I try to understand this graphically, then also you will understand. Everybody knows the graph of y equals sine inverse x. It is like this. This is pi by 2 and this is minus pi by 2. See, you should be comfortable in graphical approach also, because we devoted whole class for the graphs, right? And we have studied graphs in almost every function. So without graphs, it is useless to study calculus. So if we consider this graph, then observe the nature here. As I said, I can approach this one from right side or left side. Now from the diagram, it is clear that how can I approach from the right side? I don't have graph. What approaching? Do we have graph here? No graph here. So what you are approaching? You can't approach. The only possibility is from left side. What is happening when you are moving towards one? This height is constantly increasing only from left side. Graph is there. As you will approach one, just to the left of one, this height is constantly increasing and it is moving towards pi by 2. This is the meaning of this question. Okay. So this is it. Now I have already shared the notes. I think ma'am might have uploaded it or whatever. Wherever you have the notes, you know this. Okay. I have already given. Go through the notes, but today I think you'll be able to complete your function homework only. But from tomorrow, start going through the notes, because from next week you will get a lot of homework. Now we are actually also going to pick up the speed. Probably we will be finishing the syllabus in November. Obviously not in October, but November. And this time it may be a possibility that the first attempt may not be conducted in January, because I don't think it will be possible to conduct JEE main first attempt in January in the coming year. Okay, but still I will try to complete your syllabus as soon as possible, so we can have some revision of class 11 topics also. All right, so please, whatever homework is given, you do it the same day. Do not wait for the next day or maybe after some time. Time will pass by like anything. Okay, so if you are a serious candidate, whatever homework I give you, try to finish it and then only do other works. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you. Now we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.